This video is brought to you by Against the Flow of Mississippi. Against the Flow of Mississippi is a book about Jake Fayard, a Marine veteran who is unhappy with the political machine running the state of Mississippi. He decides to fight the corruption from the inside. Jake will face more challenges than he ever has and will stand up for what he thinks is right. His notoriously hot temper will push him to the edge of murder, along with his friend and brother Kobe Barhanovich. Together, they will fight the system and give the power back to the citizens of Mississippi. Against the Flow of Mississippi is now available on Amazon. A link to the book will be placed in the description below.
Count time on the compound. All inmates return to bunks. Beyond the count, life on the compound. Brought to you by former Sergeant Allen of the Florida Department of Corrections. On this YouTube channel, I will explain to you the ins and outs and the do's and don'ts of a prison. Hope y'all enjoy. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you are a brother or sister correctional officer, y'all remember, be safe, and we never walk alone.
Alright, y'all. So, yeah, this is supposed to be a good day. It's my birthday. Turned 40 years old today. And it's a beautiful day. All my bills are paid. Got a food full fridge, cigarettes. Got some good sweet tea made. All in all, it's supposed to be a good day. But it's not. It's not a good day at all, y'all. Not with the news that I'm fixing to share with y'all. I moved up here back in May, and in June I started working for the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections at Toledo Correctional Institution. That's where I'm at. I'm in Toledo, Ohio. It's a nice day. I got my windows open, so y'all may hear things outside. I'm a little sweaty. I just, bought myself a birthday present. Got myself 2 birthday presents today. One, a 55-inch TV off of Facebook that I just brought in here and put in. In fact, that's why I stopped the other video, so I had to restart it and do this one. And a cast iron skillet and a steak. That's my birthday, y'all. Not a bad birthday. I like it. I can deal with it. I can live with it. But here's the sad news. The sad news is corrections is no longer something I desire to do. I don't have the heart for it. It took the state of Ohio less than 3 months to break my love of this job that I've had for 7 years. My first time I ever stepped foot in a prison was in July of 2017. And 7 years later, I can do this no more. I'm done. I'm hanging up the badge. I'm hanging up the uniform. I haven't done it yet, but it's coming. I say within a week I will be done. Now I'm going to tell you about Ohio. Ohio started out to be a very good department for me. The pay up here is excellent. It's $23.12 an hour. Of course, I came up here to Ohio for the higher paying jobs versus the $16 an hour people make in Mississippi. And I think it's $22 an hour they're making down in Florida. Maybe more. I think they just got a raise, but I can't confirm that. The training up here is excellent. You got 2 weeks of NEO, new employee orientation. The guy that handles that up here, I'm not going to name drop anybody, but I have a lot of respect for. He's a veteran CO. Very informative. The other guy that's over all the training at Toledo CI is a great guy. I have very much respect for both of them. Both of them have almost 20 years on the job. Each. The rest of the training staff, they're pretty capable officers, I think. When you get done with NEO, you go down to Columbus or Orient, Ohio, which is near Columbus, and you go to the training academy for 4 weeks. You have the option to stay there through the week, Monday through Friday, if you choose. I chose to. A lot easier than driving 3 hours back up to Toledo and back and forth every day. 6-hour round trip. And they pay you for your travel, by the way. So, I mean, the pay is good. Compensation's great up here. When you get done with the academy, you hit the pound for 2 weeks of OJT. And when you get done with that, you got a week of scenarios. If you miss a day of OJT, you complete that however many days you missed of OJT after scenarios. It's a great system. It's structured excellent. It's very informative. I literally learned something in their training every day. Now, I didn't bring that attitude of this is how we did it in Florida and this is how we did it in Mississippi up here. I came up here with an open mind, and I'm glad I did because Ohio is different. But here's where my problem is. My problem is my last day of OJT, August 14th, 2024. I went in at 5:30 in the morning. We're on 8.5-hour shifts up here, by the way, which I don't like, but deal with it. Not my choice. I chose to work here, so I choose to accept the 8.5-hour shifts. I don't like it, but you can't have everything. And I'm cool with it. This is my first time working 8-hour shifts in corrections. Everywhere else is 12 that I've worked. Even Florida was still on 12s when I was there. The only 8s were swing and admin shifts. But I do my 8, and they ask me, hey man, you want to stay and work another 8? I said, yeah. I'm here to make money. There's nothing else to do in Toledo, Ohio. It's not like I can go to the beach. It's not like I can go do something else. No, let's make money. I'm here. Let's do it. Let's get it done. So they put me in a CM wing. Again, no problem. I've dealt with CMs before. No problem. But up here they don't call them CMs. They call them 4Bs. Those of y'all in Florida will know what I mean when I say CM inmate. For those of y'all that don't, close management. These are inmates that have such behavioral problems, or they are so dangerous they cannot be cut loose amongst the normal inmate population. Toledo CI is made up mostly of inmates who can't cut it anywhere else in the state. We get the worst. We are the last stop. We get the worst of the worst. Just like FSP and UCI down in Florida. We get those type of inmates. Nothing I haven't dealt with. The problem is they have no iron behind their disciplinary process up here. Let me tell you what happened to me on August 14th. I was feeding chow. For 4B inmates, you feed them through the door. You got your bean flap, you open it up, you slide the tray in, close the bean flap. Well, that whole afternoon I had been receiving threats from inmates. I'm going to beat your ass. I'm going to spray you down. I'm going to throw shit on you. I'm going to spit on you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do... All day I had been receiving these threats. I wrote them up. You better believe it. In Ohio, we also have body cams. Now, I don't mind body cams for police out on the street. I think that kind of saves them a lot of heartache and a lot of trouble. But when you use the body cam in a manner other than as intended, in this case, they use it to screw staff up here. And I firmly believe that that is the sole purpose, is to screw staff. What have you got? They want to catch you doing something, saying something. Now, for dirty staff, catch them all day. But when I've taken enough verbal abuse, and I have enough to where I just tell an inmate to go fuck himself, I can get written up for that up here. Now, I haven't. I wanted to. I assure you, I would be absolutely lying to you if I told you that there ain't most of the inmates I've dealt with up there that I ain't want to roll the door and step in the cell one-on-one with. I would be lying to you if I said that that was not true. And I don't lie. So yeah, they've had me to that point. I haven't. I've controlled my anger. That's why I'm not in prison. That's why I'm able to sit in my apartment at my laptop making this video, and when I get done I get to go eat steak and watch my 55-inch TV I just bought. But I would be an absolute liar if I did not admit that. The desire was there. And in the old days, it probably would have happened. Again, not gonna lie. Those of y'all that know me from Florida know what kind of CO I am. Y'all know I'm not afraid of a convict. Never have been. But I don't believe in just beating the hell out of a man. I believe that we have to be the step above. Again, not saying I didn't want to. But where I draw the line at, because everything I just said up to now is just a part of corrections. It's going to happen. We accept it when we accept the job. We accept, not saying we have to put up with it without some sort of recourse, but inmates are going to inmate. We have to be the professionals. I'll admit that all day. But here's where I draw the line. While I'm feeding chow, I get about, I don't know, 5 cells down, give or take. I am not going to throw the officer that was with me under the bus. I think he's a great officer if he'd ever realized that he worked at a prison. I don't think he realizes he works at a prison yet. And I pray to God he snaps into the mentality of the job soon, before he gets hurt or gets somebody else hurt, gets somebody else assaulted. But he's a rookie, and I'm not going to throw him under the bus. He's not a bad guy. It hadn't hit him yet. At least the last time me and him worked a block together, which was on this date, it hadn't hit him yet that he works at a prison yet. Just my opinion. Great guy. I like him. I'm not saying anything bad about him. Not going to say his name. Policy states that I'm supposed to have a cover officer when I'm on the wing. It's not just policy. Honestly, in my opinion, it's common sense. We never walk alone. At least that's what we used to say in Florida. Well, they don't say that up here, but that's what policy says, is that you have a contact and cover officer. This particular day, feeding chow, I was the contact officer. I was the guy handing trays through the flap. My cover officer should have been right up my ass. But he got distracted by an inmate, about 3 cells down, give or take. And while he's distracted, again, he's a nice guy. He's inexperienced. I'm not saying anything bad about him. This inmate has a shampoo bottle filled up full of shit and other bodily fluids. When I slide his tray in, he acts confused whether he wants to take it or not. I turned my head for a second to see where my other officer was, and when I looked back, right in my face. I'm pissed. The only thing I did, I looked at that officer and I said, "You better fucking call somebody." That was the words that come out of my mouth. You better fucking call somebody. Realistically, I had every I was fighting every fiber in my body not to roll that door and beat his ass. To be expected, I'm sure. Anybody watching would be like, well, I'd have rolled the door and beat his ass too. Yeah, I'm sure you would have. Maybe you would have. Maybe you'd have been smart like me. Somebody throws shit on you, it kind of makes for a bad day. So he calls what they call up here Signal 3, what we know from Florida is a 1024. Officer needs assistance. And they come up there, and I'm covered in shit, and I am madder than hell. I'm madder than fuck. My mistake here was I was not wearing an undershirt like I should have. I wear one now. I learned a lesson that day. This goes back to every day in corrections I learn something. Every day. No matter how long I've done this. Every day you learn something. Well, I learned something. I learned the reason that you wear an undershirt now. First time I've ever actually wore one was up here. After this. So I get shit on. They bring me another shirt. I go to the captain's office. That shirt's covered in shit because I'm covered in shit. Go up to medical. Or I go to the captain's office. They take pictures. They do a report. They do everything they're doing, and I tell them right there, I want outside charges pressed on this convict. They said, well, you got to talk to the investigator about that. Hey, no problem. I'll talk to God if I need to talk to him to get outside charges pressed on this convict. I'm pissed. I also mean what I say. So, I go up to medical, and I get a shower. They give me a change of uniform. I go back to work in the dorm. Do my incident report. Pack the inmate's property. Did not break anything. I did not destroy any of his property. I don't believe in that. And again, if I did, I would be in the wrong. If I destroyed this convict's property, now I can't, and now I have no recourse. I've given my recourse up, and I know this. So I politely and professionally inventory and pack his property. He's already in the confinement wing at this point. He's already in confinement. So I go ahead. I finish my shift. And I go to the ER that night. I get off about 10:30. I get relieved finally. 16s, by the way, are 17s up here. Just in case you didn't know. If you're not doing a 17, you're doing pretty close to it. I think I clocked in at 1:30. And I clocked out at like 10:35 or 10:32, something like that. So it was actually a 17-hour day for me. I go to the hospital because I don't know what this inmate has, and I go take some post-exposure precautions. Tell the nurses what happened. And their reaction was probably much like yours. Well, why did you roll the door and beat his ass? Well, because I'm smart. And I'm not going to put myself in jeopardy of catching a felony for him. I play the long game. I play chess. I don't play chutes and ladders and checkers. So I'm out of work that day. That's a Thursday that I'm out of work. That Friday I go back, and the first person I speak to is the investigator. Well, no, I go to the investigator and then I go to HR. So I went to the investigator. I said, hey, look, this is what happened. They immediately know the case. And they tell me the Lucas County, Ohio prosecutor, what we would call the state's attorney or district attorney, will not prosecute an inmate for a staff assault if they have more than 5 years on their sentence. Oh, and the only way they'll prosecute is if you are hit in the head or face with bodily fluids. I said, bullshit. Because that dog just ain't going to hunt with me. I'm not accepting that. And if you work corrections, you wouldn't either. I'm not accepting it. That's not how this is going to go. The Ohio Highway Patrol does all of our investigations. All of them. Well, 2 weeks later, now I've checked with the investigators a couple of times. Hey, what's the status on this? Oh, well, we're waiting on the Ohio investigator, waiting on the state investigator. Okay, cool. Well, I call them. I call the Columbus office first, and they put me up here to the Findlay office of the Ohio Highway Patrol. And I speak to one of the investigators. I do not remember his name, but he said he hadn't received it. And this is 2 weeks. This is 2 weeks later. This is a week ago. The next day, he calls me back and tells me, "Oh, we've received it because I asked for it, but the courts are not going to let us prosecute it." I said, bullshit. I said, well, I'll fry my fish with the courts. Well, I went and talked to a prosecutor. Got his card right there. Mark Hanus. Real nice guy. And he assured me, which is what I already knew, that he has no problem prosecuting inmates at the prison. It's an easy win. He told me, it's hard to prove a murder case. But when I can show the jury everything that's going on in 4K, high definition, they could practically taste what's going on. It's an easy win. Makes sense to me. Makes perfect sense to me. I'm not a lawyer, but if I'm sitting on a jury and you got a lot of circumstantial evidence, I could go either way. But if I'm sitting on a jury and I see a felony committed live on camera in 4K, high definition, you can't get much more proof than that. And one thing I know about dealing with lawyers, especially prosecutors, and I've dealt with my share of them, they love a win. It adds to their record. It shows taxpayers that they're earning their money. And he told me that there was no policy in that office about the 5-year rule. Let me get on the 5-year rule for a minute. This convict gets out in 2030. This is just about the end of 2024. Even if there was a 5-year rule, and how far outside of that 5 years am I? Not very far. I don't know the month and date he gets out. I just know that he gets out in 2030. So we're at 5 years and a few months. But this is not even a policy of the Lucas County Prosecutor's Office. One thing anybody knows anything about me is I hate a liar. I absolutely hate a liar. If you lie, you'll steal. And I've got no use for a liar. I've got no use for a thief. So if you're going to lie on something as simple as that, to what end? So I'm actively looking for another job. As of this recording, I still work for the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections. Also, as of this moment, I'm in search of an attorney. I don't care where they're at. I don't care if I got to go down on the West Virginia border. I'm looking for an attorney with a pair of balls who's willing to help me sue the state of Ohio, because this needs to stop. Oh, fun fact. The inmate was in his cell, a single man cell, where he's locked down 22 hours a day. He had his canteen, his commissary, whatever you want to call it. And he had his television set in there. A little small, see-through, flat-screen TV. When they moved him from that cell to his confinement cell, he's locked down for 22 hours a day, and the only thing he lost was his commissary and his TV. Do you think that convict's life really changed that much? The answer is no. The answer is absolutely not. His life didn't change any. This goes to show that the disciplinary system in the prison up here is failing. Tack on the fact that the investigators are refusing to do their job. Yeah, I'm calling you out. Terrence Brown. Old Swartz, whatever the hell your first name is. And that investigator that I don't remember his name down in Findlay, putting it off on the prosecutor. That service is not rendered. That's also failure to report, which, by the way, in Ohio is a misdemeanor offense. Then they try to tell me that, oh, well, we can get them with harassment of a correctional officer. It's a 5th degree felony, I think, up here. 4th or 5th. Assault on a correctional officer, which is exactly what this was, is a 3rd degree felony. So not only do you want to go for the lesser offense, You want to throw the prosecutor under the bus and say they're the ones not doing their job. Let me tell you something. When you see this video, because I'm sure you will as soon as I upload it shortly thereafter, and I'll probably be gone from the prison by the time you see this, so there's absolutely no recourse you can take on me. You may try to come after me for libeling because I mentioned your name. That's perfectly fine. For all I have said is 100% true, and I welcome you to try it. I check sources. I validate what I'm told. I did go down to the courthouse downtown. Walked through the metal detector, had my phone put in one of them little cases that they had to unlock and give it to me later when I come out. Sound familiar to let you know that I'm not playing, that I actually went there? That should also tell the story. That I went there and found out you're full of shit. So yes, I am 100% going to name y'all as defendants. I hope you're not dumb enough to destroy evidence too. I'm done. I'm over it. Y'all think I'm something to play with? You fixing to find out. It may take years. Civil litigation usually does. I got time. I got all the time in the world. And if I get fired, I've already taken precautions to make sure I'm cool with that. My bills, I got paid today, so my bills are paid up for the month. It's something my grandma taught me years ago. Never go anywhere without the gas money to get home. I-75's right there. I can do all this from Mississippi. Now, I'm not making any threats of violence because there's no violence to be made. I'm in the right. I don't need violence, so don't try to say that I threatened you. I'm telling you what I'm going to do. I'm telling the state of Ohio what I'm going to do. And I'm also telling anybody who's wanting to get a job at Toledo CI, apply somewhere else. We got Jeep, Amazon, factories all around this town. There's places you can work, probably making as much or more than I'm making, that you don't have to worry about somebody having your back. You don't have to worry about getting shit on by an inmate. Now, we have a union up here, but the union kisses the state's ass, so I'm not even going to go through the union. They probably wouldn't help me anyway. And I am a member of it. I won't be when I quit. I wanted this job because I enjoyed it. I enjoy working corrections. I have been able to help people working corrections. My proudest moment was teaching an inmate how to read. 57-year-old inmate. I taught him how to read. That is something that you can't take away from somebody. I have been there for my fellow officers as best I can, my subordinates, my supervisors, and my co-workers. I know the burden of running a prison. I know it's a great burden, but it's a great honor if you do it the right way and you back your staff up. If you don't back your staff up, what you get is shorthanded, like the Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections is up here. They are very shorthanded. They can't beg people enough to come to work here. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why nobody wants to get shit on for $23 an hour and have no recourse. I wonder why nobody wants to go to work and endure the abuse from the inmates that know that there's nothing that can be done to them. I wonder why people are fed up with this career and people are quitting. Learn how to back your staff. I'm going to do more updates as this case progresses. If anybody knows a lawyer, give them my phone number, 228-337-2099. It's my cell phone. Make sure whatever the lawyer calls me, he's got some balls, because it's going to be a fight. And it's going to be a big one. And it's going to be a fight to the point to where they're going to drag it out for years. I'm game if you are. Y'all have a good day, and if you work behind the gate, be safe.